without further ado, Mr. Mark Triol, take it away.
Thank you, Keith. Good evening, everyone. I am Mark Criollo, and here tonight I'm representing the ARES organization, which stands for Amateur Radio Emergency Services. We are a volunteer organization that is in existence to provide emergency backup communication for county agencies like the Red Cross and like OES in Nevada County. So we serve both of those agencies with backup communication services if needed. Tonight I'm here to talk about the Neighborhood Radio Watch program, which we created about a year ago. And if you could go to the next slide. So what this program is and does is it's a training program that we've created for county neighborhoods, specifically to train those neighborhoods on how to use radios, handheld radios, to talk to each other in an emergency. Specifically talk to each other and to get information about what's happening with the event so they can make good decisions about what they need to do to protect their personal safety. This all, of course, is only important when normal communications are down, and I'll talk about that in a second. I mentioned us again, our expertise, we're a volunteer group, but our expertise is in communication, so we know how to use the equipment and we know how to communicate. And having a radio doesn't mean you know how to communicate. They're kind of different things. This is a free service, I'll underline that. You do need to buy a radio, but the service itself is being offered on a volunteer basis by ARES, and there is no fee to take this class. The goal of this entire effort is really to increase your personal safety during an emergency event like a fire or a snowmageddon. And it kind of looks like we're going to have more of those based on the way the climate is going these days. So that is really the goal, is to improve the safety of you, your family, and your property. And then secondarily, it might even lower your stress, because being able to talk to your neighbors during one of those events hopefully will make you feel a little bit better about your personal safety. Next one. Great. So why is this important to anybody listening to this conversation? Well, it's because we all have come to take for granted our normal communications. We all have a cell phone right here, and we think it's like on all the time. And usually it is. However, it may not be on all the time during one of those emergency events. And by normal communications, I mean cell phones, internet, landlines, and texting. These might go down for one of two reasons. Either the infrastructure will be physically damaged, similar to this really nice looking cell tower. They did a great job on that, didn't they? Unfortunately, they built it very close to the trees and it burned down. More commonly, though, these systems go down because they lose power. So either PG&E shuts that off in advance, or fire takes the infrastructure out and they lose power. They only have limited battery backup, very limited. I think you're all coming to kind of see this now with the last few snowmageddons. Sometimes power doesn't return for days or even weeks. So the whole purpose of this program is to set you up so you have battery operated radios that don't need power. They don't rely on any outside infrastructure, and you can talk to people in your neighborhood and stay up to date on what you need to do to protect your personal safety. Next one, please. We kind of break the use. So how can you use these radios? So now you know why. Well, how would you use them? We kind of break it down into three areas: keeping up on what's happening in your neighborhood, making a personal aid request, and coordination during evacuation. So by this one, we really mean getting information within your neighborhood about where is the fire, which direction is it going, which way is the wind blowing, has our evacuation zone been called yet, how close are the evacuation zones to my area being called, and also staying up to date on the major conduits of communications to the public, which would be radio stations. You can also listen to CAL FIRE and other civil agencies. Stay very up to date on what the status is with the local event. By personal aid requests, we mean your father-in-law is in town in a wheelchair. You cannot get him in the car. You can make an immediate call to a couple of your neighbors because you need some horsepower to get in the car. Those neighbors could come running to your house and give you a hand with that. And then lastly, since it's battery operated, you can take it in the car and check on local road conditions on your way out of town. So it pretty much breaks down into these three major categories in terms of how you would use this equipment to help yourself. As Casey pointed out, we've been running this program for about a year. And here's what we've done thus far. We have trained up 8 neighborhoods. So these neighborhoods have gone through the entire program. It's not very long. It's 2 to 3 meetings of about an hour and a half each. So by program, I don't mean some lengthy thing. All 8 of these neighborhoods have been trained up, totaling about 120 people. So we basically have 120 people that now have equipment and know what to do with it. And it represents these 8. You're going to hear from 3 of these in just a moment about their personal experience, some of the things they've learned about implementing this. And lastly, thank you. You're just too quick. Yeah, I just glanced and it was there. So if you're interested in pursuing more information about this, best way to do that is to probably contact me, and I can work with you very quickly on the phone and determine if it's a good fit for you. And you can contact me at this email address. Secondarily, you can go to our ARES website, which is Nevada County ARES, ARES.org. And there is a section in there called Neighborhood Radio Watch. It does have this address in it, and it's got an outline of all of the things I've covered here tonight and that you will be hearing from the other 3 presenters. So you go to NevadaCountyARES.org and or give me a call. We can pretty quickly narrow down whether this is a good fit for you, and if so, how would we proceed?
And that website is now linked from the coalition website, and I'll be demonstrating that at the end of the meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.